Hello, my name is Bogle and I'm the Chief Librarian of Surrey Libraries. I was born in Morogoro, Tanzania. My mother's name is Avtar Kaur Bogle and my father's name is Jagdev Singh Bogle. I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. Most of my family lives in England and my younger sister lives in Cleveland, Ohio. So when I was 2 years old, my family moved to Kenya in East Africa. My father was a civil engineer with the railways, so we moved a lot. And we lived in Kenya until I was 8 years old. And then my family moved to London, England. And it's in England that I completed most of my education. I did my O-levels and A-levels. And even when I was young, I loved learning. I loved going to the library. One of the most memorable things in our local library, there was a plaque that said, "Knowledge is power," and I was always intrigued by that. Just going to a library was something very special for me as a young child because it was a place when I had moved from Kenya to England and I was still trying to improve my English, and we used to be teased as young kids because we had African English accents. And so it was important for me to improve my English. So I spent a lot of time in the library when I was young. Didn't know at that time that I was going to end up working in libraries. But so yes, my former years and for me and my family was using the library a lot as new immigrants to England. And I then did my education in England, so O-levels, A-levels. It was hard for me to decide what subjects to choose because I loved everything. I just loved learning. So trying to narrow down on what degree to do, even when I was going to university, I found really tricky. What would I do? I ended up doing business management or management science because my sister did that, and really enjoyed the subject. And when I graduated, England was in a deep recession, and rather than being a management graduate trainee in a corporate, multinational corporation, which is what most of the people from my the degree that I did would do, I ended up working in an inner city college library in West London. So in the library, I started off as a clerk, putting books away on the shelf, helping people issue library cards and registering their accounts, and it was mostly students. And I really loved the work that the librarians did. I was quite intrigued. It hadn't even come across my mind that this could be a possible career for me. And it was there that I decided that I would pursue my master's in Library and Information Studies, and I did that at the University College London. So that was a master's program, and after I completed that, I emigrated to Canada. I came to BC, and I had just graduated from my master's, and just like any new Canadian or new immigrant, I faced the same challenges. I was often, when I was applying for work, was asked for Canadian experience, but it was difficult to get Canadian experience unless somebody hired me. So I started working in chapters initially, and while I was getting all my paperwork for my master's, I was working in chapters, so still connected to learning and literacy. And I really loved that. It actually gave me a really good foundation of what Canadians were reading and Canadians were interested in, certainly in this part of Canada. And then I got my first break when the Burnaby, I used to live in Burnaby at the time, the Burnaby Public Library hired me as a casual librarian. And as a casual librarian, you're not really guaranteed any hours. So I was working there on an on-call basis. And once I had that on my resume, I started working at other library systems as well. So and again as an on-call. So I think, my record is working 40 days without a day off. I was keen, I was young, I really wanted to learn the system, so it was important for me to do that. I also worked at the BCIT library for a few months as a clerical person, even though I had graduated and got my master's degree while I was doing my paperwork to work here in Canada as a librarian. So as mentioned, it was my break to get that first job at the Burnaby Library, and then I worked at Richmond, Coquitlam, Vancouver, and also Surrey. And Surrey always had a special place in my heart. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I truly felt that the culture was slightly different here. It was a city that was growing. There was a lot of diversity. There were a lot of opportunities. So even though I worked as an on-call at the Surrey Library, the library at that time was building a new library in the Strawberry Hill area. And they were looking for a Punjabi-speaking librarian, and there aren't very many of us around. So I was very lucky and fortunate to be able to use my Punjabi skills to help us offer a new library service in the Strawberry Hill area of Surrey. And that was in 1999, and that library even to this day is very full and busy. So throughout my time in Surrey Libraries, I worked in many different positions, and Strawberry Hill was one of them. I've worked in many different communities. The library that we're in today is the City Centre Library, and it was built we opened in 2011. It was built by Bington Architects, and I was so fortunate to be involved in the planning for this library. So, again, throughout my career, I feel so privileged to be able to be in a career where I can make a difference and add value to people's lives and help make an impact in our community. And libraries are so much about that. City Centre Library, it's a gathering place. Libraries are no longer, we're sitting here with books around us, but libraries are not just about books anymore. They've evolved so much, even in the 20 years that I've been in the field. When I started, we didn't even have the internet, and now there is so much information available on the internet, yet our library still gets so many visits. We have an average of 2.5 million people that come to our 9 library branches in Surrey. And what do they come to do? They're coming to connect with other people. They're coming to learn a new skill. They are coming to teach their kids the importance of reading. It's like when I was young, that phrase, knowledge is power. It just lives throughout life, right? And people say in this day and age that there's no need for a public library, and I challenge that. And I challenge that because our libraries in Surrey certainly are bursting at the seams. We have so many people that come and use the library as a space to study, as a space to access computers. The library is a great equalizer. In this day and age, there are a few places that you can go to where you don't have to either buy something or have a purpose. In a library, you can be here all day and just discover and explore and be connected to information or be open to new possibilities just through a book or through a resource. So I believe that libraries are more and more important in this day and age. There's so much development going on in Surrey, and places are small, and people need a gathering place to come together. And libraries offer that. We are a resource that has so many arms and helps people in so many ways, from a very early age to the end of their lives. It's a lifelong experience when you are a library user. Some of, I have here beside me our friend Jazzy. Jazzy is one of the library mascots. We also have Walter. And, again, this is to have fun with learning. we do so much with early literacy, and Surrey has the youngest population in Canada. A third of our population is under the age of 18, and it's very important that we are providing services and opportunities and experiences for our young generation. So we offer story times for new moms. We teach them how to teach their kids the love of reading. Research shows that families that use libraries have better learning outcomes for their children, right? So it's important for us to express that message. Surrey has many newcomers as well. 30% of our population, or over 30%, have Punjabi or other Indian languages as their first language. We have a huge population from China, Philippines, and again, the library offers so much for the newcomer, just as it did for me when I first came to Canada. We offer, books on how to improve your English. Not just books now. We actually offer apps. On my phone, I have an app called Mango Languages, where you can actually download the app and learn how to speak a different language as well as English. So, and those are all free. That's the other thing. When people come from other countries, sometimes they don't even know the notion of a public library because that hasn't existed in the countries that they've come from. And in Canada, in Surrey, a library is free for people who are in the city. To the youth out there, I invite you to come and use our libraries. In fact, to everyone out there, a library card is free. I wish I had a picture of my library card, but I don't. It is free, and it opens up a world of opportunities for you. Like me, you may not know which way you want to go with your life. You may not be unsure about the path, and the library just gives you exposure to so many different paths that you could take in life. So, some of the things that we offer for youth are writing clubs. We offer computer camps. We're offering things like Minecraft and learning how to create a website. There are just so many cool things. It's not just like the library that when you were young, that's the librarian shushing you. Our libraries are more community gathering spaces, and they're vibrant. And so for me, it's really important that people realize this valuable resource that they have at their fingertips, and to come and use it. And I've been in this role for 6 or 7 months now, and one of my missions is to get the word out there, just to spread the word. Realize what you have here, the wealth of resources, and then also Surrey is growing rapidly. So for me, it's making sure that we're able to deliver services to our community that's in a way that's sustainable. We have a new branch that's being opened in the Clayton area, and it's going to be very different. We're collaborating with our city's Parks and Recreation Department and our Arts Department. So it's going to be a community facility that includes resources for literacy, resources for doing yoga. So that's what community spaces are evolving to be now, and libraries are a core part of that. So my message to the newcomer is, come and visit. You don't have to be here physically. You can also access so many resources with your library card sitting at home. The library was an instrumental part for me becoming more integrated and learning more about Canadian culture and Canadian values. And I believe it's important for someone new in the community, if they're unsure where to start, if they're unsure where to get resources or where to get help or how to look for work or how to improve their accent, we have resources at your fingertips. So come and use our spaces, and the world is your oyster. And we have staff that are knowledgeable, that will help you, that will connect you, that will make your research more effective. Libraries have not disappeared, with the internet and with technology. Quite the opposite. And if you're not sure even how to use a computer, we have so many people that are coming to our branches to learn basic computer skills. So we can help with that as well. So just come and explore.